I've always wondered, how can I know which word is which when I'm trying to look for a Chinese word for my English word, right, that I'm trying to translate? Because every time I'm writing a script for YouTube or back when I was actually doing presentations in class, in Chinese, of course, in Chinese class, I've always wondered, how can I know? Because whenever I search for an English word, there are a lot of words, Chinese words, that pop up when I'm looking for that word, and I'm like, so which one should I pick? So even with context, I found out that some of the words I feel like, okay, this goes with the context that I'm trying to say, is actually not the word. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Dupet 321. Today I actually have a couple of awesome people who are gonna help me to kind of figure out how to choose that right Chinese word for that English word that I am trying to translate, or that you are trying to translate. First person is GAOLAOSHI from GAOLAOSHI Dank Memes, and he's a non-native speaker who creates memes on Instagram about Chinese language. So here's what he said. He said, when there is an English word that has many Chinese words, I think the best thing to do is to look for context of how those words are used. So I used when and as an example for like knowing, okay, how will I know which one to choose? So bow is rarely used to mean to win in everyday speech. Bo means vast and is in words like 博物馆, which means museum, a hall with a vast amount of things. Sheng does mean win, but is usually used as a piece of compound words such as 战胜, to triumph in warfare, and 胜利, victory. Ying is what you say when you win a game. People would tell 赢了, not 胜了. So let's hear what the second person said, and that person is Quay-jo from Elementary Chinese, a non-native speaker living in China, and he creates videos on YouTube and Instagram teaching people everyday simple phrases.
Well, choosing the right word in a sentence when you're producing it on your own is hard in any language. Think about somebody who's learning English. Do they use the word get, or retrieve, or procure, or secure, or acquire? Which one of those? They all have their own subtleties and correct context, right? Which is why I teach and stand by the approach that we learn in context and really understand how the Chinese communicate, and then we just copy that. And so I go for day-to-day life approach, because in day-to-day life, the situations that you experience are pretty repetitive, and you and me can learn what the Chinese people are saying in those situations, and then use those phrases ourselves. And for the things that we communicate to our friends, because, and this is like, if you zoom out and you go for the macro view, learners choosing a word for their sentence. Well, why are they writing sentences? Are they trying to communicate with folks, or are they just trying to do an exercise? If it's exercises, then the book gives you a context, a finite bank of words to use, right? If it's real world, then understanding how Chinese would communicate, or just asking a Chinese friend, is much more efficient than trying to figure out like the right word and then going kind of roundabout asking, well, why isn't it this word? Why do you say that word? Like, I would much rather somebody just quickly figure out, because their friend told them, oh, we Chinese use this word to communicate this, so that they get the benefit of learning and the good feelings of being able to communicate. But otherwise, picking so many words and struggling through sentences, you know, like, somebody can do that out of context or trying to generate their own language instead of trying to mirror the language the way it's used. And after 6 months of that, they're still not that much better than they were before. But now they have more questions in their head, and maybe frustration and disappointment starts to set in. And we don't want that. We want the quickest way to get results and feel happy too about the progress. And so yeah.
Third person is Karen from Chilling Chinese, and she's a native speaker because of course we can't go without asking a native speaker on their own perspective. So she's a native speaker and she creates videos on YouTube and also Instagram teaching people the trend going on in China, such as buzzwords, the culture, and also Chinese language, grammar rules, and so on. So here's what she said. If I recall the process of learning English, how we know what is the proper word for an expression comes to 1. Accumulation, and 2. The sense of the language. For example, as the word 看 in English, there is see somebody, watch a movie, read a book, while in Chinese we all use the same word 看. Therefore, comes to the first stage I mentioned. Accumulate expressions of different choices of word that represent the same meaning. Dedicate 1 page to each one. Later, one can try to spot any patterns or rules. The second stage being a sense of the language. After one's language level reaches a point, he or she will develop a feeling for the language when he or she can sense if a word combination feels right or not. Those are my personal opinions based on my experiences. Hope it helps. So after hearing what they said, I've come up with a theory of choosing that word, that right Chinese word for that English word we are trying to translate. So here's my theory. So number 1 is accumulate and context, right? So memorize the phrases that are used in everyday life that the native speakers use. And also look at the context at which each word are used. And sometimes it could just be like a phrase on its own where you don't have to break it up. And sometimes you can actually break each word up and look at the context at which it is used. So number 2 is having a sense of the language. So that happens like when you've learned Chinese for like a couple of months, a couple of years, and you know like, okay, this word is used in this context and this word is used in that context, right? So it becomes easier for you to like choose the words for the sentence that you are trying to create. So the third one is asking a native speaker, asking them for help or just like, conversing with them and also learning on the go, like, oh, this phrase is used in this context. And you can also ask them why. You don't have to be at any level in this case. At any level you are, you can converse with a speaker, but just know that when you're a beginner, it's actually much harder to converse in Chinese. But as you go up in level, you have acquired more words, so you're able to make a good conversation and also kind of like have a better understanding of how the word is used. Hey peeps, so when I was editing this video, I realized that I didn't record the ending part, so here I am recording the ending part. I'd like to say a big thank you to Karen, Quay-jo, and GAOLAOSHI for sharing their own perspective, giving tips, their own thoughts on this topic of choosing the right Chinese word for that word we are trying to translate. And if you'd like to check out their social media, their YouTube, their Instagram, I'll put their links in my description box, so go ahead and check them out. Also, feel free to share your own thoughts. I would love to hear what you have to say on this topic. Feel free to share with your friends, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and you gained something from this video. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. 再见.